time for our first hot topic. Rising rents are crushing the dreams of Suncoast small business owners. The Herald Tribune has a story out that the very popular Irish bar Pub 32 on the South Trail in the Square South Shopping Plaza, it's closing its doors this weekend. The owners relocated from their home in Northern Ireland and then opened the restaurant 10 years ago. But a large recent increase in rent and landlord issues are forcing the closure. The owners say they survived COVID, but they can't survive the Suncoast rising rents. This hurts my heart.
It certainly does. And you know, it looks like we're beginning to be a place where very high-income people can live and maybe very, very poor people can get some help. But the middle class, the working middle class with good educations and good jobs can't afford to live here. This is scary.
Well, I have to say that's part of the reason why I'm moving, is that my housing is just too expensive. It's too expensive for me as an artist to live here, and I think that that's one of the charms of the city is the artists and the arts, and I think that's being driven out by, you know, the high rents.
And I don't want to knock like national chains and franchises or anything, but you know, it does seem like a lot of the smaller, independent, locally owned restaurants and businesses can't keep up.
Absolutely.
And the ones the people that can are the ones that are owned by a corporation. And so I just don't want to see us become, you know, every boulevard in every city in Florida.
And I do think that's where this risk is, and that applies very directly to this situation, is that, you know, the landlord understands market value. You know, I'm not going to begrudge him that, but it's very hard for the small businesses. So a landlord's like, whoa, we are on fire. Up goes the rent. People are going to pay it. Well, who can afford to pay it? The national chains, not the small businesses. But, you know, when you see a place that a local couple put 10 years of their heart, soul, and investment in, it's very popular. It is not closing because it isn't doing well. It's closing because you can only do so well, you know, in a restaurant bar atmosphere if you're not a national chain.
And these businesses, these local businesses, make community.
Absolutely.
You know the owner of the business. When you can say, oh, how you doing? Well, like with Bob in our kitchen today. When you know the local owners, it builds community.
And bringing friends there and introducing them to this new cuisine, if you will, at an Irish pub or a new beer or something, that builds community.
And specifically this one, a couple from Northern Ireland with their official brogue. If you're going to go to an Irish pub, this is the one you want to go to. You don't get that with the national chains.
And normally I would say, you know, this is where, hey, support the businesses, spend your money, make sure, you know, and so that they'll be there. But in this case, it sounds like it isn't, as much as we would try to spend and patronize them, it's an issue that's above us.
They had the community support, and that wasn't enough.
Right.
Yeah, it's a sad trend. It's one we're going to have to keep an eye on because, unfortunately, I think it's probably, you know, at risk to continue more. Speaking of neighborhood businesses and neighbors, how well do you know your neighbors? A Pew Research Center survey says 57% of us say we know none or only some of our neighbors. 58% say, okay, I know them, but I don't really chat or hang out with them. Experts remind us that knowing neighbors has huge benefits like lives saved in tragedies, happier aging, safer streets, and better overall well-being because we'll spend more time outside to see our neighbors. So, Beneve, I'm going to pick on you since you're moving. Did you know your neighbors?
Well, I live in an apartment.
Okay.
And it's a community. And while the community holds events to try to get everyone to know each other, I've never been to one.
Why? No, my daughter's having this problem with me nagging. Why aren't you going to meet your neighbors?
Well, I feel very awkward in those social situations.
Forced social situations.
Social situations. And I know, I mean, like, I'm a pretty outgoing. Right. Well, I mean, I'm socially awkward, but I try to hide that behind, you know, this. But, you know, I in a forced situation where you're made to get to know somebody or play a game, especially. Oh gosh, like
games are
corporate bonding games.
Oh my icebreakers.
Oh, I hate those. I want to murder something.
Yeah, no, those are bad.
No, that's hyperbole. I don't really want to murder someone.
You know, I think it comes down to owning a dog. Because when I have had to walk my dog, then you have a reason to be out there. People talk to the dog, and then they talk to you. So it's the icebreaker. So when I've had a dog, I've known all all my neighbors. When I haven't had a dog, I don't know
So in your
anybody.
new neighborhood, do you feel like you know people up and down your street?
I was getting to know them when I was walking during COVID a lot.
Yep.
But now I'm inside because it's so hot. So not like I used to.
Right.
Not like I'd like to.
Okay, that's
That's
fair.
why I have cats.
And I
Can't walk them.
I
Can't walk
do
the
agree
cat.
with the dogs. That is why Reagan took Wrigley with her. One of the many reasons it would force her to get out, walk, and meet people.
And meet other dog owners or dog lovers.
You run outside, but you
Yeah.
probably don't. I don't want to
Yeah, but-
stop and
Well,
talk to you while you're running.
I do take my headphones out if somebody does engage me, because
Okay.
somebody on our block invited us to a party years ago, and we didn't come, and we never got invited again.
Yeah.
So during
Yeah.
COVID, when I was out running, I did get to know the neighbors a lot better, and I thought, listen, we live on the street. We don't want to be that house that doesn't participate. So
But
now
how do you do it? What do I do? Go knock on the doors and say hi? I know their names, but it's awkward making friends when it's so hot, when we're so confined to our own
Right.
home.
This is a bad time of year, but I do think when the weather's a little better, you do, have to be outside in the front of your house picking up sticks or pulling some weeds. My grandmother used to just pick up sticks, and I think it was so people would stop by and say hello.
Yeah, and wave and smile. I mean, that does
That's a
go a
good
long
start.
way.
I don't want to
really.
pick up sticks.
Okay, well then walk really slow to the mailbox. All right, here's something else I know that you don't want to hear about. This is going to drive Linda nuts. This is a little jaw-dropping, actually, literally. Research says eating food with your mouth open makes your food taste better. I actually thought of your daughter, Kathy. She has a chewing issue. Despite what your mother told you, meaning she hates people that chew, not that she chews.
Around people who are chewing.
There you go. All right, back up and
funny.
listen. Despite what your mother says, Oxford University says, and they know everything, chewing food with your mouth open helps aromatic compounds to reach the back of your nose,
Oh, heavens.
which in turn fires up your olfactory neurons. That's the stuff that makes you smell and taste, and it makes your food taste better. Well, obviously, we're all like, ew, what about the manners? Well, maybe just focus this much on your food when you eat alone.
Okay, there
But
goes meeting the
try
neighbors.
this while you eat alone. It kind of makes sense. The oxygen reaches the food particles, which in turn cycle through your olfactory senses.
Sitting at a table across from somebody who is eating with their mouth open.
It's like the
think that would
grossest
be the end
thing.
of the relationship.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
My mother used to, and I'm sorry, and she's in a better place, but she used to, when she would talk at dinner, she would just take a napkin and put it over,
God.
but still talk, and we're like, well, we know what you're doing back there.
oh my God, that's hysterical.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess that's
funny.
better than me having to look at you do it.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. No, she would just go behind the curtain and still talk to you, though, while she was chewing.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's disgusting.
I knew you'd love that. Try it when you're by yourself. Don't try it when you're with anyone else.
Or you'll be by yourself.
That's one of those private things.
Yeah, food with your
agreed.
mouth open could be private.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a huge sucker for a mama-son love story. An Arizona woman lost her hair during radiation. It was a third round of cancer treatment. Eyebrows, eyelashes, the whole deal, and they're not coming back. So she told her 27-year-old son she just hates everyone seeing her headscarf and knowing that it's about her cancer. So her son said, I'll grow out my hair, and since it looks like yours, we'll cut it off and have a wig made. It took about 2.5 years, but he did it, and now Mom says she feels beautiful. And they look the same. There's our final picture that I wanted to get to. So that's his hair made into a wig for her. And it looks natural and it feels good.
And I know it can be so hard. I've family members and people we know, when someone's going through this, and the idea that they could wear a scarf or a wig is upsetting to them, understandably. So I love that he did this, because it's a little piece of him. This is beautiful. This is one of those great examples of stories that.
It's a way to make it better.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the whole time he was growing his hair, she knew he really cared about her and she was important to him. So I'm sure that helped her journey too.
If it was my mother, though, she'd be like, are you conditioning your hair? Because I'm going to be wearing that one day.
That's hysterical. We should all be so lucky.
I've never worn a wig in my life. And all of this is natural.
I declare.
Listen,
I don't color mine.
your turn is coming.
They're confessing secrets
Right.
over here.
Hold on for the big reveals. We got to get some weather first.